to start the recorder, so it's recording. Okay, so I'm not going to reply to the comments unless they're directly related to what I'm teaching here, just until I'm done, right? And then we'll go from there. So this is, I call them infographics, and I've been doing a lot of these lately, and they're pulled directly from teachings or books I've written or different stuff like that, or teaching manuals and that type of thing. And I really like them because they look really good, and they do a really good job of kind of condensing philosophies and processes and practices in like one picture. And so as I do these, again, I put these onto the Slack platform as well. You saw it under like resources there, so you can go there and you can download them as a PDF. They look really good, actually, I have to say. Okay, so here we are. So the title of this one is, hey, Jades, how you doing, from the UK? Is the present solvent, how to dissolve fear, how to dissolve future. Whoa, let me try this. I need more coffee. The present solvent, how to dissolve future fear in the now. So this is very much about dealing with worry, which then can manifest into anxiety, right? So in a nutshell, I realize I'm using labels. Worry is an experience that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Anxiety is a state that we can be stuck in for a hell of a long time, right? We've all experienced that. We're good. I'm back. So I'm not saying that this is like kind of the magic bullet and everything will go away, but I find it gives us a really good understanding, and it gives you kind of a path forward that you can use to start to manage things like worry, I find, more effectively. Okay, we're going to hop back to here. So I call it the illusion of worry, right? Now, why do I call it the illusion? Because here's the thing. Your mind, it says, creates a litany of hideous outcomes. So here's what I found specifically with worry. Worry is always focused on a potential future event. Have you ever noticed that? It's not worry. It's not the past. It's not even what's happening right now. It's what might happen. And a key word here is might happen, right? And I really like this piece of it. It says, here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you're on the phone so you see a bit easier. Worry is fueled by the mind's inaccurate and exaggerated stories about the future. Now, I've taught about the, hey, Clay, how you doing? I've taught about the voices in your head before, right? And actually, Jade says something that's directly related to what we talk about is catch it, check it, change it, right? And the thing with the worrier is to catch it as soon as you can, right? And then I find if you can kind of keep your balance, one of the techniques is if you're feeling balanced, right? Be mindful of the trigger, look for the glimmer, you bet. Is to, if you actually look at their logic, as it says here, inaccurate and exaggerated stories by the future. If you just can just look at some of the logic this voice is talking to you, I mean, I find it loses its intensity so quickly, because when you look at their logic, it just, the chances of this happening, because I talk about the voice of the warrior, the end story, the voice of the warrior, every time is you're going to die, right? It's a calamity. It's not an inconvenience, right? Have a blessed day. Thank you. Thanks for stopping in. We really appreciate that and participating. That's what makes this work. It's not like just an inconvenience, like, oh my God, the world is over. Right? And that's the thing with that momentum. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But the thing of it is, so much of its logic isn't. It's these totally exaggerated and inaccurate stories about the future, right? And then here we go. So then if that persists, then it can develop into what I call anxiety. So anxiety is more of a state. We can stay in this state for a long, long time. So if you think about it, here, let me just do this. Okay, this is, so worry, here we go, worry, and you've heard me, oh, that's terrible, but anyway, has a beginning, come to some degree of intensity, and then it has an end. So beginning, middle, end, right? So it's an experience that, oh shoot, here we go, it's an experience that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? Now, if you get enough of those, what tends to happen then is if I'm just going to go worry. Enough of these, enough of these, enough of these, enough of these, enough of these. And they're not able to conclude. They kind of get stuck. They can create a state that we call anxiety, right? So if you think about it, worry builds, and then it's like it gets so stuck or compacted, and I'm using these labels, right, called anxiety. And then what happens is anxiety then spews off more worries, okay? That's what I want, right? So you could call this anxiety, and as it says here, it's very much like a castle, and it's built on, it says castles of fear, and then worry about protecting them from change. So once this, as it says here, a castle is built, it's got this protection mechanisms. Hey, Jocelyn, how you doing? It's got this protection mechanism that wants to hold on. It wants to keep control. It doesn't want to change, right? Which is why anxiety can be a son of a bitch, can it? Right? Absolutely, that's what's caused my stomach problems that I'm healing now. Yeah, it's this state. So when you think about it, so the work that Z-Link is doing, just to kind of pick on her, is with her healing practices, is she is actually addressing these guys here, right? This one, because as you eliminate and eliminate and eliminate, it starts to kind of break this apart, and then this starts to go. And then I'm not saying we still won't have these experiences called worry, but they're not being fueled so much. And to me, that's the big difference, right? Not that you'll never worry about anything, but you won't have that state that keeps feeding, right? Like so, right? So it's got this, whoops, shoot, sorry guys. Get back there. There, okay. So it's got this protection mechanism right there. Whoops, come on, there we go. That holds it, right? So, and again, this is really simple, but simple is profound, right? So the power of the present, and actually it was kind of cool because we've talked about the spiritual practice and different things like that. You guys have talked about different spiritual practice, which is bringing us into this present moment. As it says here, the power of the present moment. I cut cords, that helps me for sure. You bet, tons of techniques we can use, right? And for me, what's so important is you see these guys, what? They try to take your focus into the future, right? They're always pre-playing a potential, albeit maybe totally unreasonable future calamity. But in the now, this is the place where we have power. And it says here, the only place we have power. You cannot change a future. Really like this. You cannot change a future that hasn't happened. You can only choose now. You see, and this is what really fuels this son of a gun called worry is, it's this future event and we're trying to change it, or we're trying to kind of avert this calamity, but we can't because it's in the future. It hasn't happened yet, right? Which takes us even further away from the present moment. So whatever you can do to get your butt into the present moment, you're doing two things now. You're not fueling that as much, and you're in the place where you have the power, right? The only place, and this is cliche, but it's true, the only place that we have true power, which is the opposite of control, is right here, right now, which is why the theme that we've talked about, all night so far is present moment, spiritual practice, present moment. Talked about, cutting the cords and different things like that. That's what we're doing, and that's where it's effective. And I really like this right here. So our present moment, to me, this is such a powerful statement right there. We replace resistance, which is what this damn castle is all about, right? We replace it with something that's such a strong, well, geez, that worked well, such a strong expression of power, and that's surrender. Now, when we're in the present moment, we hold the power. The connotation when I say surrender has nothing to do with win or lose. It has everything to do with your power to choose. And as it says here, be like the sand, not a rock, and allow the oceans of change to flow. Now, what that comes from is in a book I called, I think it's The Cost of Change, I think. And I talk about, I actually wrote it in Anaheim, and I wrote it as I was taking the Amtrak from Anaheim down to San Diego, and it takes you all right along the ocean front. And I watch the ocean, right? So it flows in over the sand, and it changes the sand, doesn't it? It changes that structure every time it flows in and flows out. And the sand doesn't fight it, right? It allows that ocean to do what it wants to do. And then you've got the rocks. Well, when those waves hit the rocks, there's spoosh, right? It's resistance and it's hard, and it will eventually wear the rocks down, but it's long and arduous, right? So that's where I'm talking about when we're in that present moment, we surrender to the ocean or that flow or to spirit or to whatever label you wish to use. And we're choosing to surrender to it, right? We're not being forced to, because that's what this bugger wants to do. That's what I'm kind of making a mess of things now, wants to do. You're not surrendering to either one of those. You're surrendering to, I call it the creative flow. You're surrendering to the universe. You're surrendering to your higher self. Again, however you want to articulate that. But for me, the important thing is you are choosing to surrender, which is the ultimate expression of power. You see, control is an external person, place, thing, or event is forcing you to surrender to it. This is the exact opposite. I am choosing to surrender to this force greater than me, the creative flow, again, whatever label you want to use. So I'm just going to bring this back so you can get a bit of an overview of it, like that. I know it's kind of tiny on the phone, but I'll take this recording and I'll upload it. It might be a couple of days. I will upload it to here, but I'll upload it to the Slack platform as well. And I'll take this graphic and I'll put it, just head over to the Slack platform. I think I'm actually going